this is Danielle Dunlop with a video for Pawsome Stamps, and today I'm going to create 4 cards with the new Baby Clothes stamp set and the Layering Moon and Stars stencil. So I'm starting here with some velveteen glaze from Brutus Monroe, and this is the Pink Flamingo, and I'm using that with the cloud layer of the stencil set. And I'm just going to apply all over my background this glaze. And in this video, I'm going to show you how you can easily create 4 baby cards. So if you're in need of multiple cards, this is an easy way to do it. I'm going to create 2 baby girl cards and 2 baby boy cards. So the next one is going to be with teal taffy for the boy cards, and I'm just doing the same thing, applying some velveteen glaze for my background layer. You have to make sure that this layer is completely dry before you start using the next stencil, and I actually ended up letting it dry overnight just to be sure. So in the meantime, I stamped the 4 images that I'm going to use on my cards. And I also used those the lion and the sun to stamp those on the clothes. It's just a fun little detail that is added in this stamp set. So the next day I started to use the next layer of this stencil set, and I'm using some glitter glaze. I didn't want to go too overboard on my background. And the glitter glaze, it's kind of hard to see on camera, and even later on when I try to take the pictures of it, it's hard to see, but in person it's such a nice subtle detail. So this stencil set also, the Moon and Stars one, has some marks on them, so you can perfectly layer them over the clouds. Since I'm going to trim those stencil backgrounds in half, that's not going to cover my entire background. So I'm going to create my full backgrounds with some distress inks, and I'm using some heavy cardstock that works well with wet materials. So I'm using the mat that comes with the Tim Holtz glass mat, and that is perfect to do some ink smooshing. So I do 1 layer of ink smooshing at the time, then I make sure that I completely dry it with my heat gun, and then I'm going back in again and give some really fun layers. And it's just a subtle background since the clouds are quite present, it's quite dark. So here I'm going to trim them in half, and here you get an idea of what my backgrounds are going to look like. And now you can also start seeing how easy it is to just create 4 cards this way. So on that ink smooshed background, I'm going to stamp the sentiment, which is going to be the same for all the cards. And I just love this one. The laundry is about to get super cute. And since it's going to be all in the same place, I can just leave that stamp in my MISTI and put the next background in, and you don't have to reposition anything anymore. Then I'm going to create with some twine a clothing line, and I'm kind of eyeballing where that is gonna go. So I'm adding some drops of glue. I'm also using the marks on my glass mat so that the lines are ending up at the same height. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Not one clothing line is hanging perfectly. But just make it go down in the middle a little bit, and just with some glue it stays perfectly in place. And I'm also going to add some glue to fold the twine around to the back, so it's perfectly worked out of the way. I'm adding some foam squares to the clothes because the twine already makes it stand out a little bit, and it's just easier to add it with the foam squares. And I also add a little bit of glue at the top just in case it will catch there with the twine, just to make sure everything stays in place. And I'm doing the same thing with all 4 of my cards. And then the stenciled layer, I'm going to add some foam tape to it just to give my cards some extra dimension. Now it is time to add this layer to my background. And then once everything is in place, I'm just going to use some glue to attach the whole thing to my card base. Sometimes I do work directly on my card base, but when there's so much ink and watering going down on my cards, the cardstock I use for my card base are not really made for that. So I use a different type of cardstock for that. And here are my 4 finished cards, and I love how I was able to create multiple ones with that. I'm trying to show you the glitter glaze a little bit, but it's really hard to catch on camera, but believe me, it is there. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and I wish you all a beautiful day. Bye bye.